Braw lads, on Gala water, bonny lads, on Gala water. Let them all say what they will, the Criers aye wi' Gala water. O tower yon moss, o tower yon moor.
Hello and welcome to the first and hopefully last virtual Ex-Braw Lads and Lasses Association's dinner. As chairman of the association, it is a pleasure to be able to introduce a feast of Gala talent tonight that will aim to help everyone get through another cancelled gathering week. We'll have words tonight from the Laird of Gala, John Scott, gathering president Bill White, Ex-Braw lads Bruce Daward and Ian Rackham. We will also have songs from Jess Thomson and Toon Crier, Alaistar Waddell. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our first artiste, Alaistar Waddell. Alaistar performed in the Gala Opera for over 50 years and has also performed at many burn suppers and dinners over the years. He is retired now but worked as a sales manager in the electronics industry for the majority of his working life. Alaistar took over the role as Galashiels town crier in 2016 and is looking forward to carrying this on in 2022. It gives me great pleasure to introduce him to perform the Border Ballad for us. March, et Ricantivia del, why the deal dinna ye march forward in order? March, Esdale and Liddesdale, all of the born is a band for the border. Many a banner spread flutters above your head, many a crest that is famous in story. Mount and make ready then, sons o' the mountain glen, fight for the Queen and your old Scottish glory. Mount and make ready then, sons o' the mountain glen, fight for the Queen and your old Scottish glory. From the hills where your hillsouls are grazing, come from the glen of the buck and the roe. Come from the crag where the beacon is blazing, come with the buckler, the lance and the bow. Trumpets are sounding, war steeds are bounding, stand to your arms and march in good order. England shall many a day tell o' the bloody fray, when the blue bonnets come over the border. England shall many a day tell o' the bloody fray, when the blue bonnets come over the border. Our first speaker of the night is the Laird of Gala, John Scott. John's family have been connected to the gathering since its inception, giving permission to hold it annually. John is the eldest son of Christopher and Anne and became the 22nd Laird of Gala in 1997, taking over from his father, and the 5th Laird to officiate at the Braw Lads gathering. He is married to Jacqueline and they have 2 sons, Alexander and James, who have both stood in for their father on Braw Lads Day. Ladies and gentlemen, the Laird of Gala, John Scott.
Thank you. Well, I've seen many Braw Lads gatherings in my life. I've lived through 70 of them so far. I've seen wet ones, warm ones, hot ones, cold ones, but I've never seen a virtual one before. And what a tragedy that we can't have a proper gathering this year. But as a substitute, this is an amazing idea. I've done a huge number of Zoom calls from my home over the past 15 months. I never expected to be participating in a type of gathering looking at a camera, wishing everybody a good day. It's a huge privilege for me to be here, welcoming everybody. We're not going to have the same sort of day as we would have done if we'd had the gathering with the horses crossing the river, coming to old Gala House and the Market Cross, but we're going to have a very good day. One of the good things about the past year and a half is it's given a lot of us time to do some of those tasks which we've been putting off for a few years. In my case, one of the things I've done is to go through about 60 years worth of photographs. Many of them accumulated by my parents, who've been dead for a quarter of a century now. In these photographs were a huge number which related to the Braw Lads gathering, and I appear in some of them. In the first ones, I'm about that tall, and as the years go by, I get a bit bigger. And I'm ashamed to say that I couldn't, other than basing it on my own size, I couldn't place the exact year of each gathering. So I called in the assistance of Gordon Keddy, who took one look and said, no, that's 1953, no, that one's 1957. Absolutely wonderful. In those days, I was allowed, when I was about 4 or 5, I was allowed out on a pony to participate in a bit of the gathering. But when I was 6, I'm sad to say, I had quite a bad riding accident, and I said to my parents, no more. That, I'm afraid, was the last time I participated on a horse, which was in 1958. But I've been very happy to be watching from my feet ever since, and that's what I'll be doing next year. Thank you.
Our next singer is Jess Thomson. Even at the tender age of just 17, Jess has quite the list of performing credits to her name. A student at Galashiels Academy and a member of Gala Opera and the Right Angle Theatre Company since she was 6, she loves to dance, sing and act. She took on the main role in Selkirk Opera's production of Annie in 2015, performed the roles of Mary Poppins and Suzanne in Sweet Charity in school summer concerts, and made her Edinburgh Fringe debut in 2019, playing Sheila in a chorus line. Jess's dream is to pursue a career in musical theatre. Ladies and gentlemen, singing Bonnie Rosa Gala, Jess Thomson.
With eyes of Asia blue.
It now gives me great pleasure to hand you over to Bruce Daward, Braw lad 1970, to offer his words and memories on the gathering from 51 years ago. As a result of the pandemic hitting last year, the principals from 1970 were handed their 50-year medallions privately. Ladies and gentlemen, Braw lad 1970, Bruce Daward.
It's so sad that the pandemic has resulted in the cancellation of the Braw lads gathering for a second year. It doesn't feel like 50 or 51 years have passed since I was Braw lad. I have travelled up and down the A7 hundreds of times during those years, and each time passing through Langham, Hawick, Selkirk, and eventually arriving in Gala. I remember each time the celebrations, ride-outs, friends made and wonderful memories I have of the events in those towns and the other border towns I visit during my short stays. Also the friendships made, and especially with Valerie, Stuart, Mary, Ian and Patricia. And sadly, Stuart and Mary are no longer with us, but will not be forgotten. Until one participates in Braw Lads Day, you don't realise how many very committed people and how much work goes on to make all of the year's events go off without a hitch. And all those people should be congratulated by all for a job very well done. Obviously the memories of Gala are far the best and strongest, and the way the community unites to make you realise the importance and the honour of being elected to represent them and the town. I will never forget how wet Braw Lads Day 1970 was, as there was no let up in the rain until the afternoon. But the crowds were not going to let the weather spoil the celebrations. I especially remember at the War Memorial thinking the Borough Standard staff was going to break during the dipping due to the extra weight of the water, and then the relief when it didn't. And when dismounting, seeing Val in her white and blues made me realise how wet it had been. The dye in the Braw Lassie's sash was certainly not waterfast. Then the community came together, opening cleaners and starting up tumble dryers and getting us back into dry clothes, and Val borrowed whites for the rest of the day. The cancellation obviously affects everyone in the town, and I think particularly the primary school children, not able to anticipate and enjoy the visit of the Braw lad and Braw lass to their schools. It makes them realise they are an important and integral part of the community and the celebrations, and could one day be Braw lad or Braw lass themselves. Those visits are one of the strongest memories I will never forget, seeing how excited the children were and how important it was for them. In my travels, I have not come across a town or village that has such a good, extensive celebration, and Gala and all the other border towns should recognise they have a very special tradition and should be the envy of all. Where else do you get so many riders and spectacles that everyone can annually look forward to and enjoy? Let's hope that with all the work and the vaccinations going on, the Braw Lads Gathering of 2022 will be one we are all able to celebrate and remember. COVID-19 virus, safe out and don't come back. Thank you.
please enjoy another song from Alaistar Waddell, who will favour us with a rendition of Auld Gala tune.
I'm far, far away across the wide sea. When I dream of my homeland, it's heaven to me. But I'm going back, and it can't be too soon. When I reach my heaven in Auld Gala tune. As my memory wanders, I can still hear the din and the crack of the shuttles as they whiz through the loom, to see the braw lasses come hame frae the mill, or to smell the sweet blossom up our Gala hill. I sit here just thinking o'er gathering day, the flags and the bunting, the streets look so gay, the crowds around the fountain, the gardens in bloom. How I wish I was back there in Auld Gala tune. I've seen the wild Ettrick and Teviot in spade, but gie me Gala water, it's gey hard to bid. The wings o' the angel wi' her head hanging doon, I'm sure she's put a blessing on Auld Gala tune. Though seas may divide us, I'll still feel the same. In my hand there's a longing when I think o' him. If I were a king, I would gie ye my croon, take 'em back to the borders, an Auld Gala tune. Take 'em back to the borders, and Auld Gala tune.
We now have Ian Rackham, Braw lad in 1971, celebrating 50 years since he and his official party served their time in office. The association would like to congratulate the principals from 1971 and 1970 on their milestone anniversaries. We'll be holding an event later in the year to officially present them with their 50-year medallions and look forward to seeing them all. To offer his memories from 50 years ago, ex-Braw lad Ian Rackham.
Good evening everybody, from Ian Rackham, Braw lad 1971. Just a quick mention of how disappointing it is that this wretched virus has cancelled the gathering for 2 years in the trot. It would have been really marvellous to catch up with Iain, Anne, Ian, Eddie, and unfortunately how disappointed I was to hear that Sandra's no longer with us. At least we have memories of the gathering and how it represent the town, the borough, and how unfortunate it is for the principals of this year that they've not yet had the opportunity to have memories. Hopefully next year everyone can have principal memories and we can all get together and enjoy ourselves again.
Our final song is from Jess Thomson, singing Sweet Lass of Richmond Hill. Our last speaker is Gathering President Bill White. Bill was born in Edinburgh and moved to Ashes Steel when he was a 3-year-old. He went to Cadenfoot Primary, then on to Galashiels Academy. Bill is a financial advisor who runs his own company and over the years has been very involved in local affairs. He has been involved with Gala in Bloom, Gala Waterways Group, Gala Inner Relief Road Group and is currently on the board of directors for Live Borders. Bill has also been involved with the local community council and was chairman from 2002 until 2012. He was then elected onto Scottish Borders Council to represent Galashiels and the surrounding district. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill White.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This speech will be slightly different to the one I gave in my first year as president of the Braw Lads Gathering in 2018, when I gave an insight into myself and what the gathering had meant to me and my family over the years. On this occasion, I'd like to take the opportunity to tell you a bit more about what it's like to be president and what it means to me personally and what my first year as president was like. The president of the Braw Lads Gathering replaced the original town provost some years ago. To me, it is the highest honour to be asked to do. You are the representative of the people of the town and you cannot let them down. During the run-up to Declaration Night in April, there are many speeches to learn, and with many written as people spoke in the 1930s, and many ceremonies to understand and practice, which you need to learn. The first real test is Declaration Night. Once the Braw Lad and Lass are announced in the Borough Chambers, we then moved forward to the balcony. I was aware of the band playing and the general background noise. As the curtains are closed at this point, you cannot see out until the bugler plays and someone tells me you're on. And you walk out onto that balcony for the first time and suddenly it hits you. And you say to yourself, I must get this right. And for a couple of seconds you take a large intake of air and off you go. Further ceremonies follow until the final Braw Lads week. This week of ceremonies passed so quickly until finally we had the Braw Lads Gathering on the Saturday. And if you remember back to 2018, it was a fantastic day. The sun came out early in the morning and stayed with us all day. The early morning breakfast helps to steady nerves and prepares everyone for the day ahead. There were huge crowds gathered at each of the ceremonies, and everyone had a fantastic time. I still had enough stamina left to support the final fling in the volunteer hall, and as I left with my wife and I stopped to reflect in Bank Street Gardens, the first time it had really been opened up to the public. Judging by the crowd still out and around, some had obviously had a right good day. Two Hoyt men approached and said it's one of the best days that they've had all year, and that was good for me. I could see what the gathering means to everyone. It's a fantastic event and brings families together, forget their troubles for a while and enjoy themselves with fellow human beings. The last 2 years have been hard on many people for all different reasons, but I am sure, however, the people of Gala will be out in full support at the next Braw Lads gathering. I will probably be the only president who will serve a 5-year term rather than the normal 3 years, although 2 of those years I said very little and done not a lot. It's been a large vacuum, and it's something that I hope no other president has to contend with. However, we must look to the future and put COVID behind us, and on that basis I cannot wait until April 2022, when hopefully I will be able to stand on the balcony once again and present to you the Braw Lad and Braw Lass and their attendance for 2022. Thank you.
That concludes the Ex-Braw Lads and Lasses Association virtual dinner. Thank you all so much for watching. There are a few thank yous due to everyone who has contributed to putting it together. First of all, to those who have performed tonight. Alaistar and Jess for their fantastic songs, John and Bill for their words, and a special thanks to Ex-Braw Lads Bruce Daward and Ian Rackham. Thank you to Stuart Wilson for taking care of the tech side and putting everything together. His help and knowledge have been invaluable. Thanks to everyone who have contributed by sending in photos or videos, which I hope everyone has enjoyed viewing. Finally, thank you to Gordon Keddy and Colin Playfair for putting the whole event together. I hope that has put a smile on everyone's faces and has provided some sort of normality to what would have been the gathering week. We can look forward to 2022 with a lot of optimism that everything will go ahead as normal and we can all enjoy our favourite week of the year once more. Thanks again for watching, take care and stay safe.